Will one shocking turn of events decide the fate of Sergio Perez at Red Bull? Max Verstappen might be dominating the F1 world, but there's an unexpected twist happening in the shadow of his success. Sergio Perez, once a beacon of hope for the orange team, is on thin ice. How did he get here, and what could this mean for his future at Red Bull? Stick around till the end to uncover the details of this thrilling narrative. And if you enjoy our deep dives into the world of F1, remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more riveting stories. Let's shift gears and dive into the story of Checo Perez's nail-biting season. The 2023 F1 season came with a lot of expectations for Red Bull. Verstappen had captured his second World Championship a year prior, but Checo had come in third place, with Ferrari's hitman Charles Leclerc separating the two Red Bull drivers. As such, the goal for Red Bull going into this season was simple: eliminate that gap and ensure you have a 1-2 punch at the end of it all. Even at its most dominant, Red Bull has never finished with their drivers in the 1 and 2 spots at the end of the championship, something that Mercedes has achieved several times in the past. So, as Red Bull team principal Christian Horner stated, achieving the dual leading positions will be the team's primary objective for the season. For Checo, however, being part of that famed 1-2 punch wasn't going to cut it. This man was on his own mission, which was simple: to win it all by whatever means necessary. By the time the first 4 races were done, Perez was in second place. Verstappen was top dog, but Checo had managed to keep the gap between them to just 6 points, while the gap back to Fernando Alonso in third position was a cool 27. Things got even better for Checo when, in the Miami Grand Prix, he started in P1, whilst Verstappen had to settle for P9 following a terrible mishap in qualifying. Nevertheless, if there's one thing we've all learned in F1, you never discount Max Verstappen. And at the Miami Grand Prix, he did it again, coming from P9 to take the win, with Perez second and Alonso placing third. For some reason, this race seemed to mark a turning point for Checo. Over the next 5 races, he failed to make any meaningful progress, only finishing on the podium once in Austria. To add insult to injury, Checo continued to fall back in the points, failing to pick up podiums for several races until Qatar. And over the past 3 races, he's only managed to earn 5 points. As for Qatar, Perez really only had George Russell to thank. After that collision with Lewis Hamilton at the very start of the race, Hamilton never really recovered and never managed to get back into the podium places. So, for now, Perez gets to keep his number 2 ranking on the grid. The 39-point lead he has over Hamilton in the overall rankings remains, and he'll be looking to build on that as the season wraps up. Still, the primary question on everyone's mind is simple: will Checo really be able to hold on to his lead and hold off Sir Lewis? Over the past year, it's been obvious that Red Bull has the best cars on the grid. Combined with the incredible driving skills of Max Verstappen and Checo, the orange team is currently killing it on the track. As their dominance is so significant, it looks like they won't be making any new upgrades either. But every other team will be looking to make those upgrades to their cars, and that is especially true for Mercedes. You see, heading into this season, the Silver Arrows were planning to dethrone Red Bull, and really, only they and Ferrari had the juice to do that. But when the season began, it was obvious very quickly that Mercedes cars just weren't on the same level as the Red Bulls. One of the most significant issues Mercedes has is the flawed zero sidepod concept of the W14 vehicle. Amongst other things, this sidepod challenge has been the reason for Mercedes now being on pace for their first winless season since 2011. With just 4 races left in the season, they have finally announced an upgrade to the W14 that could see it finally mount a challenge for some race wins. The upgrade introduces a new floor body and floor edges, which will hopefully improve airflow conditioning and aerodynamic loads. This has been achieved by raising and reprofiling the leading edges of the W14's floor, while some additional load needed to create downforce has also been achieved by extending the forward floor flap towards the rear of the car. Mercedes believe that this new design will optimize airflow to the rear of the W14 and its diffuser, whilst also improving rear downforce, a lack of which has bothered both Hamilton and Russell for the entirety of the season. Team principal Toto Wolff has claimed that this upgrade will be the final one for the season, and Hamilton has said that he is cautiously optimistic about it. So, all eyes on their performance going forward. If Hamilton and his upgraded W14 can outperform Checo, then there is every reason to believe that the British driver will be making a huge run to strip Checo of that number 2 ranking. Now, depending on the outcome of the final 4 races, a lot of eyes will understandably be on Checo to see how well he can maintain his run. Besides that, there is also the broader conversation about the Mexican driver and his place in Red Bull's plans for the future. Undoubtedly, Checo will need to finish in second place this year if he hopes to keep his seat. But at the same time, there's kind of a feeling that even a second place finish might not cut it anymore. Helmut Marko, an advisor to Red Bull and the head honcho at the team's driver program, has recently made some interesting comments about Checo. In an interview from earlier this month, Marko commented on Perez's future at the team, saying, "He needs a change of scenery and team. Let's see how the next few races go, but the team and he are aware that he is in crisis." Now, it is worth noting that Marko and Perez haven't necessarily had the best relationship over the years, and Marko himself has been the subject of some severe sack rumours in the past few weeks. Still, a person like that making some dangerous comments about Checo's future is a considerable risk for the driver. For now, Checo's contract with Red Bull runs until the end of next season, but as we all know, the Red Bull team is no stranger to getting rid of drivers mid-season. They famously sent Pierre Gasly to Toro Rosso back in 2019 after just 12 rounds. And this year, Red Bull's second team, AlphaTauri, fired rookie Nick de Vries halfway through the season, replacing him with Daniel Ricciardo. So really, anything can happen here. The reality for now is that Checo has not necessarily lived up to his billing at Red Bull. The driver came in hoping to cruise to a championship, but that hasn't been the outcome. Apart from the fact that he is now in the fight of his life, he has again watched his teammate cruise to the championship with 5 races to spare, while the gap between them is a staggering 226 points. Sure, Checo isn't nearly in the same class as Max Verstappen. At this point, Mad Max is a man standing completely on his own. But Red Bull entered this season with a clear goal in mind, giving their drivers the best support they could regarding their vehicles. But Checo hasn't quite been as competitive as he could when it comes to racing. And for a team as impatient as Red Bull, this isn't where Checo wants to be right now. With the season winding down, it'll be interesting to see how Checo responds to the immense pressure he is under right now. But one thing's for sure, this is one driver that won't be under the radar going forward. Now, we want to hear from you. What do you think? Will Checo hold on to that second spot? Is his time at Red Bull finished? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for joining us today and diving deep into the world of F1. Remember, stay passionate, stay informed, and always keep your foot on the gas. This has been F1 Racing Now, your inside track to all things F1. We'll catch you on the next lap.